When you are a person who is success-minded, you have a wagon that you are pulling uphill. Attached to this wagon is this very thick rope. You are shirtless. You have a rope on your back and you are pulling this wagon uphill at all times. You are totally responsible for your wagon. You are the only one on rope. Now, in order for the wagon to go up the hill, you have to have people, like-minded people, people on your staff, employees, people who you partner with. The thing of it is, though, you are the only one responsible for the pull. What you have to be careful of is as you pull this rope up the hill, you have to make sure that everybody that's on the wagon is doing something to get the wagon up the hill. Everybody's foot got to be hanging off that wagon, pushing. Somebody got to get off the wagon and move rocks from under the wheel. It's an old wagon you pulling. But what happens along the way, and you got to be careful, there are people who will get on your wagon and have no value. Get on your wagon and become very, very comfortable. All of a sudden, they feet up off the ground. They just on the wagon ride. And you have them in your life as a mother.
Everybody has somebody in the wagon they're pulling.
You all got somebody on your wagon.
Everybody has somebody in the wagon they're pulling.
That's doing nothing.
They've got their feet up.
Seriously, sometimes it's your children. They done just put their feet up. Now, at a young age, you understand that, but once they get to a certain age, you want them to help out. Sometimes it's your business partner. Sometimes it's the people you hire. Sometimes it's the people in your other department that's supposed to be helping with a project and they just got their feet up. Whoa, 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 whoa. You are now making my haul on this rope more difficult than it is. You must now shed yourself on this dead weight. If you don't, your climb with your rope will be, it's agonizing.
Jennifer says, life is what happens when you're busy making plans. Should my plan be solid or flexible once I'm clear on what I want?
Well, it's a combination of both, but you got to get tunnel vision to reach your goal. You have to put blinders on and say, I'm laser beam focused on this. But know this, the road to success is always under construction. So just knowing when you strike out on your goal, you're going to have to get ready for flexibility because there's going to be detours, pitfalls, stop signs, men working, delays, detours going around. That has to be expected.
Another habit that you can establish is to become people-oriented. Recognize that everything that you achieve in life is going to be with the help or support or cooperation of other people. So always think, what is it that other people want and need from me? How can I help other people so they'll want to help me back? If you're in sales, top salespeople think about their customers all the time. They think about who their customers are and what their customers want and how they can help them the most and how they can help them even more today. In their relationships, successful people are very focused on the most important people in their worlds, both personal and in business.
Grateful that the slaves didn't drop and quit. Say, I'm just gonna stop. I'm a slave. I'm just gonna be a slave. I'm gonna quit. Listen to me. The slaves said, we will live because one day we will become. We won't always be slaves. So today, although we're slaves, we're gonna act like we're free, and one day our children will be free. If the slaves would have just said, we quit, we give up, we would have died in the middle passage. But some slaves said, I don't care what we go through, we're gonna survive this. 400 years of slavery, we're gonna get through this. And you can't get through it 1825. You can't get through a writing class and you got tutor after tutor, resource after resource. The problem is you ain't never felt no pain before. You're soft. It's a soft generation. You quit on everything. Our people did not quit. Harriet Tubman not only made it, she went back and got some more. She said, you know what, I made it, but I'm gonna walk all, listen to me, shh, not ride the bus. I'm gonna walk all the way back down to the south to get some more. And you quitting on 1825? Now watch this, you quit after you, listen to me, you get a sleeping bag and you wait for him. You wait for the first WRA instructor to come in and you come out your sleeping bag, I need help. You quit after you do that. You quit after you had, listen to me, a WRA party. I'm having a party. Everybody come over. I got food, everything. And let them get over there. Let it be all the best writers. All right, I food y'all. I want to have a writing party. I'm serious. You quit and you ain't even tried yet. Last one, I'm sorry. Last one. Listen to me. Pain is temporary. It may last for a minute, or an hour, or a day, or even a year. But eventually, it will subside. And something else will take its place. If I quit, however, it will last forever. Listen to me, I'm telling you as I leave.
People don't like it. So many people I talked to at that time for Alipay, they say, this is the stupidest idea you have ever got. But I say, I don't rather stupid or clever, as long as people use it. Now we have 800 million people using this Alipay.
Now, before I leave, I want you to do these two things. Number one, right now, acknowledge that you have a human being within you. Number two, I want you to make it a part of who you are. And you do this by every day allowing yourself to see the humor and the laughter that is around you. The more you do this, the more it becomes a part of who you are. I want to tell you something. If you say you can't find something to laugh at, you're not looking. You want something real funny to laugh at? Try this first thing in the morning. Look at yourself first thing in the morning. No, really, don't even get dressed. Look into a full-length mirror, butt crack naked, and go, I'm ready to go. How many married people out there? Married people? Come on. Oh, yeah, there's humor there. There's humor there. As a matter of fact, I think a sense of humor is the key to a healthy marriage. But if you were to read Oprah Magazine would tell you that the key to a healthy marriage is to simply understand your partner. Are you kidding me? Have you ever tried to do that? Understand your partner, man or woman? Folks, listen to me. You will never, ever be able to understand your partner. The only thing that you have to understand about your partner is that there are things about your partner that you will never understand. And if you can understand that, you will have a better understanding. Do you understand? I was married to my wife for over 30 years. To this day, I could never understand why I had to get in trouble for dreams that she had. How many people have children? Children out there? They're the funniest people on the face of the planet. Why do we not take advantage of this? One of the funniest things about kids is watch how your kids grow up to be just like you. My son thinks he's a comedian. Now, he's really funny, but when he was in elementary school, we had a problem because he was getting in trouble. He was disrupting the class. He didn't know when to stop. He kept thinking he was on stage performing. One time he came home from school. I said, hey, how was school? He said, good crowd, good crowd. I said, don't get smart with me. He said, don't worry, I don't want to confuse you. He even does impressions. First day of school, the teacher said, so young man, what's your name? And he went, well, what's it to you, lady? The principal gave me a call the next day and said, Mr. Rizzo, we have another problem. Now your son thinks he's Jack Nicholson. And I'm like, what the hell you want me to do? How many people go to a gym? How many people work out, go to the gym? Oh, man, I'll tell you what. If you don't, get a membership to a gym, don't even work out, just sit there and laugh. There's so many funny people there. There's a gym where I work out on Long Island, and there's a bodybuilder that comes in there all the time. And this guy has a perfect body. He's like 6'5", 250 pounds. He's like maybe 27 years old. And when he works out, he's by himself. He never talks to anybody. And he has the headphones, in his, and you can hear his music blasting as he's doing it. And he's like a solid rock. But the thing that cracks me up is that every time he lifts something, I'm not kidding you, he sounds like the lion from The Wizard of Oz. And like if he's curling, you'll hear him go. And when he does this, my friends give me the cue. That's my cue. So when he goes on the bench press and he can't see me, and he's bench pressing a lot of weight, he's going, and I'm in back of him going, I can't lift all that weight. I'm gonna hurt myself. Yeah, you laugh. If he ever finds out, he'll probably be bench pressing me, so. Folks, here's my point. I am not claiming here that your humor being is a cure-all for all your problems. But what I am saying is that your humor being can place you at the helm to steer the course of your life with equanimity when the storms of misfortune, change, and negativity are pouring down on you. It's one of the greatest gifts that was ever given you. What good is a gift if you don't open?
Number one, disgust. Disgust. Disgust is a negative emotion, but it can have a very positive, powerful effect. Disgust says, I've had it. What an important day that could be. I've had it. I met a beautiful, powerful, accomplished executive lady in New York. The company invited me to come in. This lady was the vice president, an extraordinary lady. I got to know her and I found out her story. I said, how did you get here? Big income. And she never went to high school, never went to college, never went to university. I said, how did you get here? Executive, powerful, income. She said, well, let me tell you part of the scenario. She said, when I was a young mother a few years ago, she said, one day I asked my husband for $10. And he said, what for? She said, before that day was over, I decided I would never, ever ask again. She said, I started studying opportunity, found it, took the classes, put myself through the schools, did the scenario. Now I'm vice president. I make a lot of money. And she said, I kept my promise. I've never, ever had to ask again. It's called a life-changing day. The day you say, enough.
When I was young, there was an amazing publication called the Whole Earth Catalog, which was one of the Bibles of my generation. It was created by a fellow named Stuart Brand, not far from here in Menlo Park, and he brought it to life with his poetic touch. This was in the late 60s, before personal computers and desktop publishing, so it was all made with typewriters, scissors, and Polaroid cameras. It was sort of like Google in paperback form 35 years before Google came along. It was idealistic, overflowing with neat tools and great notions. Stuart and his team put out several issues of the Whole Earth Catalog, and then, when it had run its course, they put out a final issue. It was the mid-1970s, and I was your age. On the back cover of their final issue was a photograph of an early morning country road, the kind you might find yourself hitchhiking on if you were so adventurous. Beneath it were the words, stay hungry, stay foolish. It was their farewell message as they signed off. Stay hungry, stay foolish. And I have always wished that for myself. And now, as you graduate to begin anew, I wish that for you. Stay hungry, stay foolish. Thank you all very much.
First, to live life without limits, focus on having clarity. The first area you'll need to focus on is clarity. I say this time and time again, clarity is the king in all things. When you have clarity, you're absolutely clear about who you are, what you want, and where you're going. If you don't have clarity in your life, you'll probably never achieve those big goals and dreams. In fact, studies show that clarity can account for up to 80% of your happiness and success in life. You can achieve clarity by sitting down with a piece of paper to brainstorm your goals. Write down all of your goals, the big ones and the little ones. Write down the type of person that you want to be. Write down the type of life that you want to live. Put everything down on the paper that you can think of, and whittle down your list and focus only on the most important goals. Then, arrange them in order of importance. Once you have everything written down, it will be easier to identify the limits that are standing in your way from achieving your goal. You begin to develop clarity, and once you have clarity on your goals and what stands in your way, the real success starts piling on. You'll be able to make a strategic plan to push past these limits and get where you want to be. Gaining clarity is a crucial first step as you prepare to overcome obstacles and reach your goals.
The problem with most people is that they're playing the world's most unrewarding game. And the name of the game is follow the follower. There's a story about a small town in which there was a jewelry store, and like all jewelry stores, or most jewelry stores at least, he had a big clock in his window. And every morning for years he'd noticed a working man stop, adjust his pocket watch to the same time as the clock in the window. He'd been doing this for many years, and one morning the jeweler was out in front sweeping his sidewalk, and so he asked the man, he said, "Tell me, why do you adjust your watch to my big clock every morning? I've noticed you're doing that for years." The man said, "Well, I'm the foreman down at the big plant." He said, "I want to make sure my watch is correct because I blow the quitting whistle every night at 5 o'clock. The jeweler looked at him rather strangely for a minute. He said, "Well, that's funny." He said, "I've been setting that big clock in the window by that quitting whistle all these years." A very logical thing, but they could have been off 6 months. It was a case of a person just going along with what he thought to be correct without checking his references. So I want to suggest that from now on out, at least we do that we check our references and ask ourselves, are the people I'm following going?
So very quickly, 6 needs. Let me tell you what they are. First one, certainty. Now these are not goals or desires, these are universal. Everyone needs certainty that they can avoid pain and at least be comfortable. Now how do you get it? Control everybody, develop a skill, give up, smoke a cigarette. And if you got totally certain, ironically, even though we all need that, like you're not certain about your health or your children or money, you don't think about much when you're not sure the ceiling's gonna hold up, you're gonna listen to any speaker. But while we go for certainty differently, if we get total certainty, we get what? What do you feel if you're certain? You know what's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen, how it's gonna happen, what would you feel? Bored out of your mind. So God, in her infinite wisdom, gave us a second human need, which is uncertainty. We need variety. We need surprise. How many of you here love surprises? Say aye. You like the surprises you want. The ones you don't want, you call problems, but you need them. So variety is important. Have you ever rented a video or a film that you've already seen? Who's done this? Why are you doing it? You're certain it's good because you read it before, saw it before, but you're hoping it's been long enough you've forgotten if there's variety. Third human need, critical, significance. We all need to feel important, special, unique. You can get it by making more money. You can do it by being more spiritual. You can do it by getting yourself in a situation where you put more tattoos and earrings in places humans don't want to know. Whatever it takes. The fastest way to do this, if you have no background, no culture, and no belief in resources or resourcefulness, is violence. If I put a gun to your head and I live in the hood, instantly I'm significant. 0 to 10, how high? 10. How certain am I you're going to respond to me? 10. How much uncertainty? Who knows what's going to happen next? Kind of exciting. Like climbing up into a cave and doing that stuff all the way down there. Total variety and uncertainty. And it's significant, isn't it? So you're willing to risk your life for it. So that's why violence has always been around and will be around unless we have a consciousness change as a species. Now you can get significance a million ways, but to be significant, you got to be unique and different. Here's what we really need. Connection and love, fourth need. We all want it. Most people settle for connection because love's too scary. Don't want to get hurt. Who here has ever been hurt in an intimate relationship? Say aye. And you're going to get hurt again. Aren't you glad you came to this positive visit? But here's what's true. We need it. We can do it through intimacy, through friendship, through prayer, through walking in nature. If nothing else works for you, get a dog. Don't get a cat, get a dog. Because if you leave for 2 minutes, it's like you've been gone for 6 months when you show back up again 5 minutes later, right? Now these first 4 needs, every human finds a way to meet. Even if you lie to yourself, even if you have split personalities. But the last 2 needs, the first 4 needs are called the needs of the personality, is what I call it. The last 2 are the needs of the spirit. And this is where fulfillment comes. You won't get fulfillment from the first 4. You'll figure a way, smoke, drink, do whatever, meet the first 4. But the last 2, number 5, you must grow. We all know the answer here. If you don't grow, you what? If a relationship's not growing, if a business is not growing, if you're not growing, it doesn't matter how much money you have, how many friends you have, how many people love you, you feel like hell. And the reason we grow, I believe, is so we have something to give of value. Because the 6th need is to contribute beyond ourselves. Because we all know, corny as it sounds, the secret of living is giving. We all know life's not about me, it's about we. This culture knows that, this room knows that. And it's exciting. When you see Nicholas up here talking about his $100 computer, the most passionate, exciting thing is here's a genius, but he's got a calling now. You can feel the difference in him, and it's beautiful. And that calling can touch other people. In my own life, my life was touched because when I was 11 years old, Thanksgiving, no money, no food, and we're not gonna starve, but my father was totally messed up. My mom was letting him know how bad he messed up. And somebody came to the door and delivered food. My father made 3 decisions. I know what they were briefly. His focus was, this is charity. What does it mean? I'm worthless. What I gotta do? Leave my family, which he did. At the time, one of the most painful experiences of life. My 3 decisions gave me a different path. I said, focus on, there's food, what a concept, you know? Second, but this is what changed my life. This is what shaped me as a human being. Somebody's gift, I don't even know who it is. They're not asking for it, it's giving our family food, looking out for us. It made me believe this. What does it mean? That strangers care. And what that made me decide is if strangers care about me and my family, I care about them. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna do something to make a difference. So when I was 17, I went out one day on Thanksgiving. It was my target for years, have enough money to feed 2 families. Most fun thing I ever did in my life, most moving. Then next year I did 4. I didn't tell anybody what I was doing. Next year, 8. I wasn't doing it for brownie points, but after 8, I thought I could use some help. So sure enough, I went out, and what did I do? I got my friends involved, and I grew companies, and then I got 11 companies, and I built the foundation. Now, 18 years later, I'm proud to tell you, last year we fed 2 million people in 35 countries through our foundation, all during the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all the different countries around the world. It's been fantastic.